All right, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Daniel Dixon Jr. Today we got a different video today. We're gonna do a client case study. This one of my great friends, Joshua. We just met not too long ago at an event. We met at an event about creating more money, developing personal development, and he was just watching. He knows what I did. He was just watching. He was just always wondering, man, like if I could just get access to capital. He was doing a lot of research, and that was one of his biggest struggles. He finally reached out. When he reached out to me, he was like, "Hey, I want to get capital to do X, Y, and Z," and in just only a matter of I think 22 days, we were able to get him the capital that he needed to go make the moves that he wanted to his business. So, Joshua, before I even ask you these questions and we get into the actual case study, I just want to say I appreciate you a lot for trusting the process. I appreciate you for even reaching out because I know there's a lot of people out there that have those same questions, even if it's working with me or if it's working with somebody else. They're
Right.
just afraid to go and take the next step. So I appreciate you, bro, for knowing what you want and then going after for what you needed. So this case study is gonna be great. Crazy story how we met and crazy story how we got here today. But Joshua, I'm super excited, man. But before I even ask you the questions, how you doing this morning? How you feeling this morning, man?
I was just saying, man, I feel so freaking good. I don't think I could feel better if I even tried. I am just off of a huge win streak, not just with this, but personal life, business life. Just everything is just boom, 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 lining up perfectly.
Purpose is just stacking on those wins, and that's how you build. So you're building momentum right now. You got a lot
Big
of
time.
momentum going.
Big time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The first question that I had was I kind of already answered it already, but before working with us, I guess what was your biggest challenge when it came to getting funded? And I already know that you had good credit, but what was your biggest challenge when it came to trying to get funding for yourself?
Honestly, I would say it's ignorance. For me, business has been one of those things that I've been doing business for about 6 years, right? And it's always been just, okay, it's my thing to make me money. I've never really taken it like, okay, I'm gonna make this multinational company, or I'm gonna scale this to like the highest level that I possibly can, which is where I am now. I've just been like, okay, 8 grand, 10 grand, that's fun. That's my comfort zone. But lately, I've just had this different thought of, okay, well, what if I aim to be the best in the industry at what I'm doing right now, and what would it entail to do that? And a lot of that stuff is just okay, you need access to resources. You need access to
Yeah.
people. You need access to different agencies that work within your industry. So how do you get that as somebody that's starting out? That's where the ignorant piece came in, and where things started to change for me was it was very interesting because I started to see these things, these little like roadblocks, and little bit by little bit, just things started to block off a little. And God says, or it's almost like when Moses stood at the edge of the lake,
Hmm.
tons of people behind him. He he had nowhere to go, and there was an army after them. And he's heard the voice of God, and he said, "Raise your staff." The waters
Mm.
parted, and that act of faith right there saved everybody, and the waters closed behind them, so he could never be the same again. So what I mean by this philosophical, esoterical way of saying, um, I was asking for like, okay, what's the solution to this? I wonder if it's like getting funding some for my business, or a loan, or I don't know what it is, but funny enough, the next morning I open up my Instagram, and there's my good friend Danny posting stuff about about small business funding. And I think before that you were doing credit repair, right? So this was
Yeah. So I do both, but I lead with business funding now because that's who I'm mainly focused on. If they don't
Mhm.
qualify, it's like, okay, you got to start off with this program. So I technically do both.
Yeah, props to you, man. Props to you, because
Appreciate it.
me seeing that was like, oh, this is the voice of God. Let me open this
God,
door.
God made you raise your staff, bro. Because I know you mentioned like Moses and stuff. No, that's crazy, bro. And it's so funny how the universe and everything works. It's like once the universe knows that you're serious, bro, things just start falling in your path, and it all comes down to what you said, just the act of faith.
Mhm.
So you took some faith, you reached out, and we're here now, bro. So I definitely do appreciate that and that mindset that you have, bro, for sure. Um, that's gonna, I guess, kind of that kind of leads to the second question. But
Yeah.
what made you decide that it was time to stop trying to figure it out on your own and get expert guidance?
So it's honestly what kept me back from scaling to actually trying to be the best at what I do, or to play this game at the highest possible level. Because mind you, I've worked with guys that are at the highest level. I've just been under
Yeah.
them, and that has been a conscious or unconscious choice, but it was just this lack of commitment on my part to
Mm.
be the person that is that way. And once, yeah, the reason why I'm on this massive win streak now is because I have such relentless commitment to being that person, and there's just excitement about it. Because I always was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I think I want to share this just because there's many people that could benefit from this.
Go
Is
ahead. Go ahead.
when you go into business, or when you want to make money online or whatever it is, there's this idea of romanticizing that you have to do something that you love. Now, what I want to say, and I put this on my wall back there, is
Okay.
you don't fall in love with what you do. You fall in love with the process of becoming whatever it is that you want to do.
Yes.
And it's something that you just have to try out a bunch of things. Just live your life. It will happen. You will get to that point. But don't be afraid to make mistakes and commit to something big, something much, much bigger than you're ready for. Because that's when you change. That's when you have to become someone different. That's when you have to step up and really you allow yourself to experience new things for yourself. If you don't know what to do right now, if you're gonna love it or not, think big. What is the biggest vision of yourself that you can see and go towards that direction.
I know that you talked about you were scrolling on Instagram. That's how you found me, but I guess you go into more deeper. Like, what was the exact process of how, like, even when we first met, like, what was the exact process of you actually finding me and you actually knowing exactly what I did, just to hear from your perspective?
Yeah, so Danny and I met at this like secret event. And I
That's funny.
I would say Danny was like the most dapper guy there, and as somebody that appreciates dapperness, you can tell by my mustache.
Yeah.
I yeah, I just connected with him and I complimented him on his style. Very, very particular style, very good charisma, also something that I appreciate a lot. So yeah, we started talking a little bit, and at this point, I think we even talked about cred for a little bit. Um, and it just started to develop over a few years, or a few months rather, and we
Yeah.
didn't talk much since then. I had this big phase of my life where I just completely cut out Instagram because I wanted to figure myself out, not well, not myself, but my business out.
Yeah.
I had a lot of big transitions happening in my life at that point, so I just wanted to focus in. I just wanted to be focused on work and make that the priority. So I did that. And then I started getting back into Instagram. I downloaded the app again, started getting back to some messages and started checking out the stories of the people that I used to follow.
Yeah.
And Danny was one of them. But it just came at such a perfect time in my life where I really heard the voice of God of like, oh, here you go. Is
Mm.
this what you were looking for? So I can't really say it any other way than that because that's the way it was for me.
That's amazing, bro. Just the fact that it can really feel like God was like, hey, or like, here you go. That's
Yeah.
something, and that's something that I do pray about for my business. Like, I pray to God all the time, like, hey, like, I just want to be a funnel for you and just give people access to the funding that they need. So that saying that like this is something that God gave to you, like that's something I
Mhm.
really do appreciate, bro, for sure.
Yeah, like you never know why you meet someone or what's gonna go happen from that relationship that you have with someone. Um, all I can say is that when you meet someone, just treat them the best way that you can possibly treat them because that's the same treatment that you will get back. Maybe not, but still, you can be proud of yourself at night.
Absolutely. No, I do appreciate that, man. And that's gonna lead me to my next question. So can you walk us through exactly what I guess you did differently that made you get the 70K and 0% interest business funding? Or
I would say
yeah,
I'm
go
a
ahead.
pretty regular dude. I've been in business for about 2 years, or at least I have been incorporated for about 2 years,
Okay.
and I think that helped. I had a relationship with the bank that we got the funding from, which also helped.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, from a very young age, I had an interest in just credit and personal finance. So when I was 18 years old, I asked my dad like, "Hey, can I get on your credit card?" And he was like, "No." So, or I was 17 actually. He was like,
Yeah.
"No." And I was like, "Okay, well, can I? Is there a way for me to get a credit card?" And he said, "No, wait till you're 18." So when I was 18, I got myself Discover Cash, I think it's what it is, or
Yeah.
Discover
Discover
Student.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like the starting card, at least for when I was building credit. And I
Yeah.
just put one payment on it. I paid it off, payment on it, paid it off. And eventually I started to spend more, paid more off, and um I built up my credit to about I think it was like 720 at one point or six yeah, 720.
Wow.
And then I just started using credit cards more regularly. So I would say that the only advantages I had is I had a slight interest in personal finance when I was growing up because I had this interest in money.
Yeah.
And other than that, I just took action. I just committed to being a certain person and I saw the signs for what they were and the opportunities for what they were.
Absolutely. And that's gonna lead me to the next question, bro. And I know you want to speak highly about this. So I guess what was the reaction whenever you woke up and you saw the 50K in your approval?
Yeah, so it was interesting because I saw the emails first, and the emails just said your credit your credit has been hit or something like that. Like a lender checked your credit score. So I was like, oh, okay. And there was no notification, no email or anything like that from the bank saying you've been approved. So I was like, oh, shoot. Well, I might have to
Like,
message
damn.
Danny about this. And then I started to just I think I don't know if I checked it specifically for the reason, but I went into the app and I saw that I had in my business tab another card and I was like, oh, that's the Chase Inc. business. Okay. And then I checked the limit. Did everything go work out perfectly? And yeah, that's the credit limit was the right credit limit and everything worked out perfectly.
Good, good. No, that's amazing, bro. That's funny. You were like, dang, you saw it being hit, and also, we can remove that. Like, bro, we can actually remove that inquiry just because, like, Chase they don't report to the personal,
Oh,
and you
okay.
can actually. So I'll give you the script so we can actually call Experian over the phone and just be like, hey, I need you to remove this inquiry. So now you can actually remove that because your score might have taken a hit like a couple of points, but you can actually remove that inquiry. We do that for all my clients. So I got to give you that
Okay.
script after.
Cool,
Got to give
cool.
you that. So
I
yeah,
don't know if my credit score went down at all.
yeah.
Um, last time I checked it, it was higher than ever, which is interesting. It was like at 768 or
Yeah.
77.
Yeah. Like as long as you really have like I tell people like credit score doesn't matter, but as long as you have like over 700 plus and you got like your factors are strong, like bro, I give shout out to you because like when I actually saw your profile, bro, you were solid. We just had to do a couple of things. That's part of the service. And then once we did those things, like boom, we got that funding. So you were pretty solid, bro. And then we just leveraged the relationships that you already had. So for people that are watching this that are like wanting to get funding, essentially what I do is like we take a look at your profile and then based off what relationships and your situations that we have, that's the next moves that we're gonna make. And I appreciate Joshua too because he was very coachable. I told him what to do X, Y, and Z. He got X, Y, and Z done, and he got his money, and now he's about to go make moves with it for sure. So I do definitely appreciate from you as a client, for just following X, Y, and Z. And I know all this stuff was probably new to you, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had you do a couple of things. You did it, and now here you go. Now
Yeah,
things
I
is like we're
mean,
here now.
it's like we were saying, right? It's once you make a commitment or a decision of something, just follow through.
Absolutely. So now that you got your 50K, 0% interest. My next question is, I know that we were talking about this. How do you plan on actually using your 50K? Because I know you were talking about you're stacking up all these wins, and I know you're going crazy on TikTok. You're gonna start doing some business on there. So what do you plan on exactly using your funding for?
Yeah, so over the past few weeks, it's just been stacking up the wins, man. And
Good,
I started to have brands reach out to me to manage their shops. So
good.
essentially, I worked with this one guy that's a really well-known guy. We wrote a book together. We launched it on the TikTok shop. I have it here. I think this
Yeah.
is still available if anyone wants to get it on Amazon and
Promote
you're
it, bro.
interested
Promote it.
on just manifestation, law of attraction. This was written by a guy that has done over nine figures. So
Wow. And what's it
I mean,
called?
this works. It's called Something Amazing is About to Happen.
Yo, if y'all watching this, get that book. Something amazing. Yeah, yeah, get that for sure.
But yeah, I mean, we wrote that book together and I started launching it on TikTok shop. Then the author of the book had to like really pivot because he had some fires going in some other business. So we just cut the book off of TikTok shop temporarily. Probably was going to be back eventually, but it became like the number two best-selling book in that category.
Wow.
Yeah. And not only did I do the brand management, but I started doing some of the shop content as well because before we completely cut the book out, we cut the funding to it. So it was like, okay, we have some stock, but we can't hire creators. So I have a book. Let me make some content and let me sell the copies. So I started learning the shop content. I started doing pretty well as well. And funny enough, I was very reluctant to shop at the beginning,
Good.
but that's the beauty of getting outside of your comfort zone is because after I started doing it, I started loving it. So
Mm,
now I'm in this position where I am dominating the shop management side of things and the shop creative or content creation side of things. And
good.
that's just what I'm eventually going to end. What's a good way to phrase this? I am going to be the legend, the go-to guy in the TikTok shop space, both in the brands and in the content creation side of things. And that's just going to be my playground, right?
Yeah.
So I've made that decision and again, right now, where I'm at with like why I need funding is because you need access to the agencies, right? There's different agencies that work with all the main brands on TikTok. So it's TikTok right now is such a, or Shop right now is such a small space in terms of
Yeah.
the players that are playing that game that one or two or three agencies have access to all of the big brands. And all of the big
Mm,
brands have all of the retainers. They have all of that. So essentially, if you want to get to the highest level, you have to get access to those agencies can connect you to the highest level of
mm.
brands, of just actual content creation, education, everything. So that's the main investments that I'm going to make from this is just going into Shop, different agencies for Shop to connect me with the highest level that I can possibly be at. And from that point on, eventually I'll probably start my own shop. And I have this idea for this mustache wax company.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too later on because
Yeah.
that's if y'all didn't I didn't mention this, but the first when Josh was like, I'm very charismatic or I'm just a cool dude, that's the first thing I noticed. Like, bro, that mustache, bro. I love that, bro. Like that's you, bro. Like I really love that mustache for sure, bro.
Appreciate it. That was also one of just God's little signals to me because I always had this like tendency whenever my facial hair grew to just start twirling my hair, like my mustache, even though I had no mustache, right? This is that's what's funny.
So no
So
mustache, you're just
yeah, I
air.
was just like exactly.
That's funny,
Um,
bro.
eventually I just said, you know what? What would happen if I let it grow? And it started growing nicely. It started growing well. And it got to a point where it was too long. So then I had to like start looking into like how do I take care of this mustache actually? And I discovered it's not actually about twirling the stash, but it's about like shaping it. And then you get into the
Mm.
products and like it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun stuff, but it's definitely something that
Mm.
you need to take care of it. And it came to my life at a point where I was taking much more care and much having so much more love for myself. So it
Good.
just like emotions come first.
Absolutely, man. No, that's great because I definitely want to touch base on that for sure about the mustache and everything. So no, bro, that's definitely great. The next question I had, we're almost wrapping up with the video, so I got a few more left. But the next question I had, bro, was whenever you came to get funding through us, I guess what did you learn about going through the process that you didn't know about before?
Oh, well, this is the ignorance part, right? It's like I didn't know what I didn't know. Like you can there's so much possibility for you that you might not even be aware that there is. And
Mm,
when I was walking into this, I didn't know anything about small businesses. I had gotten a personal loan actually to build my credit because they ask you to have certain number of accounts and loans. And
yeah.
um, so that was my only experience, and they gave me like 5 grand or something. Um, so I was coming into this, well, it's a business. You can probably get like maybe 25. And whenever we ran the numbers, Danny just told me, oh, well, we can get you 50. Like, it's going to be tough to do 25, but we can get you 50. So I was like, oh,
Mm.
that's interesting. And there's just so much more possibility than I thought there was, not just in how much you can get, but what you can do with it, right?
Once
Yeah,
you have it,
100%.
as long as you just have your plan, it's like, you know what I'm saying? You go invest it here or you go put it here, pay this off, and then boom, now you're on to the next thing for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. One of the other things that I'm looking to do is I'm gonna invest it into a car because
okay.
TikTok Shop, I live in
Yeah.
Florida, right? I live in the north
Yeah.
part of Florida,
Yeah.
and TikTok Shop is like funny enough, everybody is in Florida. They're just like in
Mhm.
South Florida. So
Yeah.
I'm like this close. I want to get there and I want to be in the presence and in the like now that I have access to all these people. But you learn so much more by being in the presence of someone, and they're so close, but I still can't go there because I have some trouble with my transportation currently.
That's good. Now you have, bro, I'm telling you, access to more resources. So God is, you know what I'm saying? I was grateful that I'm able to get you the resources. And now God is just like, hey, we see the vision. Now you're going to invest in this. Now you have transportation. So it's like everything is coming full circle together, bro. And I'm grateful for
Yeah,
that.
being at the right place at the right time, surrounded by the right people.
Absolutely. So my next question I have for you, Josh, is what do you say for those entrepreneurs or those business owners that they were in your same position where they were confused about funding or they were maybe a little bit hesitant to start? What
Mhm.
do you say to those people from when you started into now you obtained the capital? What's some word of advice that you have for them?
Well, if you know what you got to do, are you interested or are you committed?
Mm,
That's one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got was from a mentor of mine. He asked me, "Are you interested or are you committed?" And I answered, "I'm committed." I was not committed, not at that point. Um, I think at some point in life we all have been committed about something where we had to make it happen. You know, it's one of those things where gun to your head, this is this, and this. Um, you're gonna make it happen, right? So that's what I would ask is like if you know what you got to do and you have some kind of limitation, you're restricted because you don't have the funding. If you're committed, do what it takes, right? Get out personal loan or not personal loan, get out a business loan, get funding in some way, shape, or form, credit lines, whatever it is that you need to do to get to where you need to be, where you're going to be.
Mm.
And another thing that I want to say is you cannot make mistakes in life. You're only going to get closer to where you bel
I know what you mean, bro.
where you essentially want to be, even though that's the concept of where you're going to be is always going to change, but you're always going to end up there.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, for me, there's no such thing as mistakes. It's like or there's no such thing as failure. So I
Mhm.
can only fail forward. Or like people are like, oh, Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times to make the light bulb. No, he successfully found 1,000 ways that didn't work, but he kept getting closer and closer to his goal.
Yeah,
So it's like
exactly.
that's how I see it, as far as like there's no such thing as failure or mistakes. You just only move forward along the process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I and this is another one of those things where I used to think that way as well, and I still do think that way, but it's one of those things that unless you have had the experience of failing, quote unquote, and getting further along and seeing the progress that you made because of that, you cannot really see it that way, even though you can understand the concept in your mind. So for me, for the longest time, again, I romanticized this idea of, oh, I have to love what I do. I have to love what I do. And I would limit myself so much because of it, because I wouldn't put all my energy and time and attention into something. Because what if the new thing is right around the corner, and then I have to pivot all my energy to that? Then I'm gonna waste a lot of energy here.
Yeah.
Um, and it's interesting because now I am doing like I just wake up so excited, like so grateful,
Good.
to do what I do and to watch what I'm doing unfolding in front of me and to be creating. Um, and that's a place that I got to only when I kind of had to swallow my pride and commit to something. So,
Like commitment.
and I thought that was going to be a failure. I thought that was going to be the failure. If I commit to something, then that's going to be my downfall because the thing that I love is right around the corner. But no,
Good.
I just didn't love the things that I did because I didn't fully allow myself to be in them.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, if y'all, even if it's not working with me, or if there's something, anything that you want in your life, pay attention to what Josh is telling you. Just commit. Once you commit, you start to receive all those answers. So I feel like when I don't commit to something, or like especially in the past, I would always just overthink and I would let my pride get to me. But it's just like just commit, and you start to figure out more answers along the way. The next thing I want to talk about. So we're pretty much wrapped up. Final
Mhm.
couple questions. So just for like the viewers and stuff, I guess, what was your experience working with me? Just the time that we got started to getting your funding for your business. I guess, what was that experience? How did you feel about it?
Good, good, good. Very, very easy to follow process. Like I wouldn't say I'm extremely intelligent or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
for Pete's sake, I had permanent brain damage at one point in my life. So if I can
Uh,
do it, anyone can do it. That's all I can say. I don't know if you heard
yeah.
that, but I got some
No,
noise in the background.
no, you're
Um,
good.
yeah. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. The process might take a little bit longer than you're expecting because you have to remember you're working with a bunch of different people and they all have their
Yeah.
different times. Um, but that's my experience so far is that it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Good. Good. Yeah. This our services, like, we like to do it to where it's just like done for you, where you just come in, we take a look at your profile, and it's like, yeah, you mentioned something like we're working with other people. We have connections with banking relationship managers, so it's like when we send over the application, we're in communication with them. They don't work weekends. They have busy schedules too, so it's like we do gotta play along with their schedule too. But majority of the time, it's just like we do it for you. How I said, hey, fill out the onboarding form. We're gonna invitation to Slack. 2 or 3 days, we're gonna schedule the strategy call. We had that strategy call. I told you exactly what you did, what you do, and then like I said, as a client, you got those things done. I said do A, B, and C. You did A, B, and C, and it's just like we got the funding. Most people, bro, whenever most people that I hear online, they talk about, oh, I gotta wait like 2 years in business to get funding, or it's gonna take me 4 or 5 or 6 months. But you actually, because I think you started like March 3rd and you got funding like March 25th. So like in about 23 days, compared to like what other people are seeing, that's pretty fast. Like as far as getting
Okay.
results, like so yeah, getting 50K in 25 days, that's not that common unless you know what you're doing. So that's pretty fast, bro. So
Yeah.
luckily for you, like you already had the relationships and we had to make a couple plays and then we got connections with my bank relationship managers, they sent it over
Mm.
to the underwriter, then boom, you got approved for
Yeah.
it. So it's pretty fast actually for real. So
Yeah, and just for some context, I have other credit lines, right?
yeah,
And in these other credit lines, I think my limit on them is like 10 to 15.
yeah,
So getting one for 50, that's new. That's very new. And that
yeah,
is for business specifically. It's not personal, it's just business.
good. That's good, bro. So we're about to wrap this up. The last question that I have for you, Josh. Again, appreciate you for hopping on. But the last question I have is I'm just gonna read this off. So if you had to sum up how this experience changed your business and your mindset around money or funding, what would you say?
There's more than enough money in the world. That's it. That's the
Absolutely.
mindset. A lot of people, we have limiting beliefs around money. And I'm sure there's still somewhere within me that I still have to work on. But I started to question why, like the scarcity mindset every time that it would come up as to, okay, well, why do I feel like I have to hold off on this or that I can't get this? Oh, well, at some level, I must believe that there's not enough money in the world. And I started to think about it. And I started to just ask myself, okay, is there people like I started actually thinking about the banks. I don't know if I saw this a video on something on this or something, but I just started like remembering that banks don't really have money. That money is just this invisible thing that they create millions of it, they lend it, they give it to other people. So anybody can just get $50,000 just like that because money is there's more than enough money and it can like we could just make more of it at any moment.
Yeah.
It's not great for the economy, but they
Yeah.
do it.
Appreciate you for hopping on the case study. That's going to be the end of the video. If you guys haven't already, excuse me, if you guys haven't already, go and hit the like button below and go and click the subscribe button too. Turn on the post bell notifications so you get notified whenever I'm posting. And you get notified whenever I'm dropping these gems and we have more case studies. And again, Joshua, definitely do appreciate you for hopping on the case study, for answering the questions and just explaining your experience. And again, bro, I have the best interests, the best hopes, and I already know that who you're gonna become and who you're becoming, bro, it's already done. One thing that you did mention, you were like, I want to be I'm going to be like the legend. And I was just like, bro, like it's already done. You're just experiencing the step in between, bro. So
Yeah,
I'm super,
I feel it,
yeah,
bro. I
yeah,
this is why I'm so excited to wake up every day now is because I'm seeing this unfold in real time and some of the win
good.
streaks that I'm coming off of is like I so I first started TikTok and I was or the TikTok shop content creation side of things and I was getting like decent enough views for shop content.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of testing that goes into it and just a lot of just it's basically marketing. But
Mhm.
instead of selling stuff, which you are selling, but you sell through entertainment. So now I had to figure out the entertainment side of it. So I started doing that. Well, over the past week, I've generated like 3 million views, bro. And
Wow.
yeah, it's one of the things where, okay, we figured out this part of the equation. How can we now put this part with the entertainment selling side of the equation and actually just super high conversions? So there is going to be this is a ticking time bomb. It's about to explode. And I am really freaking excited to now that I have the funding as well. I'm going to have access to not just the agencies, but the agencies have coaches within them. So,
Mm,
okay, let's take this winning formula that gets millions of views and let's put this with the coach's winning formula of how to sell millions of dollars.
mm. But
Explosion.
yeah,
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
I'm
huge.
excited to see that, bro. I'm excited to like watch your journey and see how all this folds, bro. Like I'm here for all
Yeah.
that for sure, bro.
Yeah, and on the brand side of things, yeah, there's also a ton of things happening. Like starting, um, I believe it was end of, I'm not entirely sure, but it was either end of March or end of April. We're gonna have product ready to go on the TikTok shop and start posting. So
Good,
with a new brand that I started working with, so that's really exciting. There's just wins on wins and wins stacking up, man.
good. Hey, no, absolutely, man. I'm excited for you, bro. I'm excited for just more wins come your way. God's got you, bro. And like I said, as long as and I want to end the video with this, as long as you take action, um, God's gonna make sure that everything's gonna work out for you. So again, Josh, I appreciate you for hopping on the show. not the show, the case
Show,
study.
let's go.
I'm only because I'm thinking
Bro,
like,
this is a show. This is a show. We give the people a show.
all right, yeah, well, appreciate you for having on the show, bro. And we're excited to see more wins for you. But with that being said, if y'all haven't already, like I said, like the video, subscribe, and click the bell notification so you get notified whenever I post. And with that being said, we'll see y'all in the next video.